Hi, my review is on the movie Red Dawn, which opened up on November 21st, starring Chris Hemsworth and Josh Beck. And a little bit of the summary of the movie here is a group of teenagers look to save their hometown from an invasion of North Korean soldiers. And what happens is the North Koreans invade the United States. They invade the United States, and um, they invade this town in north. It's like in the northwestern part of the United States, my neck of the woods, and but it's in Washington State, in Spokane, Washington, and I guess the invasion happens in Spokane, Washington, and in Seattle. Um, and I guess eventually there are other areas on the northern part of the United States that gets invaded too. There's no mention of California. Um, one of the things that kind of, maybe I missed something in this movie, about this movie or something. Maybe I missed something, but they never said what the invasion was. What was why did the North Koreans invade this part of the United States? Why? I mean, were they? I mean, there was never any kind of, unless I missed it, but it just seems like to me that there was never any kind of reason for their invasion, or what their goal was, or what the operation was for. They just they just invade the United States and to be occupiers, perhaps. I don't know. Now, it was never really mentioned, I don't think, unless I didn't hear it very carefully, why they invaded. The North Koreans invaded the northwestern parts and some of the western parts of the United States. They never really said what the mission was about. And but the really far-fetched thing about this movie is we're talking about the North Koreans. Okay, now the other Red Dawn movie, the one from the 80s, that was understandable. I mean, Russia was a big, scary communist superpower in the world back in those days. And people always had these ideas that would they try to invade the United States? Would there be a nuclear war? Well, what would happen? But we're talking about a little North Koreans, a small little country, the North Koreans, invading the United States, or parts of it. If that really happened, the North Koreans would be out of here. I mean, they would be, chased back into the sea. Now, in the movie, it starts off where, well, there's a football game and all that, but then eventually, um, they wake up in the morning and they hear all this, these explosions coming out, boom, boom, like that, and they go outside and they look up in the air and they see all these big planes flying over with just thousands and thousands of parachutes coming down of North Korean troops. I just think that's kind of far fetched. Now, listen, I think though, if they had it where they had the Chinese, because the China is the largest communist country in the world now, and that would make more sense. And they have a huge army. That would make more sense if they had the Chinese invade the United States rather than the North Koreans. Now, the North Koreans did get help in invading America. They got help from the Russians, which also doesn't make sense because the Russians are, I guess, they're our friends now. I think both the United States and Russia kind of somewhat a little bit, they still a little bit don't trust each other, but I think their trustworthiness is better than it was, during the Cold War. So why would they help the North Koreans invade? I mean, now there was this one guy, I guess he was a colonel or something, a Russian, and he belonged to a unit, what do you call it? Special forces, Russian special forces, Spetsnaz. There's a Spetsnaz unit the Russian special forces unit, and this guy's a colonel, and I guess it was pointed out who he was and everything, but he never really had a line in the movie or anything like that. He was just like kind of overseeing everything. He was there with this North Korean leader of the military operation there, but he was kind of like with him, and he was kind of overseeing what was going on and everything. So the Russians kind of had a little bit of a hand in this too, but you don't really see. You only see like maybe him and a couple of Russian soldiers, but other than that, it's mostly all Korean soldiers that the Wolverines are fighting against. And but so this group, the Wolverines, they're the ones that are like, they get into guerrilla warfare, and they fight back, and train for it. And Hemsworth's character is actually a retired, I guess, Marine Corps. He fought he was in the Marines, and he fought I guess, in the Middle East, and he's back home and he's with his, friends and family and stuff, and he trains these kids. He trains them how to fight, and it shows them how to take on, the other side and everything. And so, and the action scenes were good, the explosions, and all that, the gunfire was pretty good. It was okay, but this movie just seemed kind of lackluster to me. And it didn't seem to me like this movie was probably good enough to be on the big screen. I mean, if this was made for television, it'd be great. I mean, it'd be fine. If it was made for the Sci-Fi Channel or TBS or Spike TV or G4 or whatever, it would be fine, But I think for a big film, on the big screen, it just wasn't. It just didn't have an epic feel to it. Now, I think that the original one that came out. I think the original one that came out, the original one that came out, that was a little bit more epic than this, because the Russians and America and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, this one takes place in the Northwest, my neck of the woods, but these North Koreans invade Spokane, Washington, and Seattle, and they, I mean, that just seems far-fetched to me. I mean, I know it's just a movie and everything, but it just seems kind of dumb. I mean, the North Koreans, I would have figured the Chinese maybe, but North Korea, I mean, there was no way they would stand a chance. But the movie, it does have its, moments and exciting times. But I think that, like, the ending of the movie, I didn't like the way the movie ended, because you didn't get a sense, who won. Which side won, who won. It just showed the battle mood going on, just going on, and the group of those teenage kids just going on about their business, and like the original movie, it did show who won that war, who won the invasion. But this movie, it doesn't do that, and it just kind of left it, like the ending, with so many questions, But it is what it is, and it just didn't feel right, the ending. It just seems like we should have at least knew who won the day, who won the battle in the North. Like the original one, the Russians get defeated and the Cubans get defeated and they go back. They leave the country, so. But anyways, I give this movie a D+. I mean, it had its moments, it had its good scenes and stuff like that, and, its good action scenes and stuff. But it just seemed like there was so much to desire from this movie, and there was things that just was kind of strange, didn't make sense, so yeah, I think that I'd give this movie a D+. It's probably, it's probably a movie you wouldn't even want to rent out. I mean, I'm not trying to put it down, but if it comes on television or whatever, on a channel or something like that, you might want to check it out. I mean, but that's my review. I was kind of disappointed with this movie. I want to like it, I really do, but like I said, the whole thing with the North Koreans invading, it should have been the Chinese. It would have seemed more realistic. I mean, North Korea would never invade the United States, or at least part of it, anyway. And so I kind of wasn't all that crazy about the movie. But anyways, that's my review. And so everybody take care, and I'll talk to you later. All right. And we'll see you in the future. All right.